Just say interview with Matt, Samurai Cop documentary, roll 2.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Interview with Mathew, Karedas, Samurai Cop 2 documentary.
Roll 2?
Roll 2.
Cool. Alright. So, next question.
Oh
yeah, right down the stairs.
How do you view yourself as an artist? Are you an artist?
Yeah, I think I always have been. Which is hard to say because it seems so pretentious when you talk. Again, I've never studied acting traditionally. I've always had my opinions of what I think acting is. I think acting is having the, I don't know, I should say. I mean, it's having the ability to play pretend or make somebody to believe, not like if you're lying, but if you're convincing enough to make them believe whatever you're saying, I guess. Which is no different for me as my children, as they grew up, reading stories to them when you're kind of, and the wolf came through the woods, you know, you're putting stuff into it. Obviously acting is a little bit more different, but in traditional acting, it's finding moments and being able to know, and I know a lot of that Stanislavski and then the Miser and all that Strasberg stuff is about knowing how to tap into those emotions and how to replay them and through sense memory, blah, blah, blah. So reading any scenes that I'm seeing now and trying to put something more behind it other than just the verbiage, because acting, a lot of it is the eyes, and which I have crazy eyes. But a lot of it is just, you know, knowing that you can tap back in, understand whatever that character's feeling. And for me, it's if I can relate to that and say, oh yeah, I can get there because I've been through that. That's great. What acting classes teach you is how to get there if you can't, which some people can't. But there's also things that, you know, people said, oh, you know, we need you to play this over-the-top gay man and kiss a guy and so on. And no, not disparaging gay men, but I think I can't relate to that. Now, an actor, a traditional actor would say, I can play whatever because I'm stepping outside of me. I'm playing a character. I can totally do that. Me, Mathew Karedas, I know my limits. And I just know I couldn't get there. It wouldn't be believable, so I'm not even going to try. So that's why I don't say that I'm an actor, because traditional actors can do that. I more or less try to say, if I look at something, and I've used this analogy before, if we talk about Tim Allen, Roseanne Barr, Jerry Seinfeld, they had television shows, they were comedians, and they basically had shows developed around them. So when you watch Seinfeld and you say, what's Jerry Seinfeld doing right now on the television, you say he's acting. But in reality, what I think is it's just Jerry being Jerry, and he's saying some words that some people decided to put in this sequential order and to deliver them this way for a certain result, a punchline. So I don't know if Jerry Seinfeld would consider himself an actor too. When I say actors, then I talk about, like we just talked about, Michael Keaton, Robert Duvall, you know, Pacino's, you know, these kind of guys that were traditional actors that really can get into a character. So for me, I think it's just being able to give the best, most relaxed performance possible, which again frustrates me now because of what's going on, where I can't give the best performance because of other things going on around me. But you know, it is what it is, and this is Samurai Cop. If I get a chance to do something else that has nothing to do with hurry up and get it done, and you can finish the scene, then you can go look at the playback, and then you go, I could do that a little better. I could see I lost focus, or I missed a beat, or I didn't hit that note right, you know, whatever. So, and that's why stand-up comedy I've loved, because that's just me being me on stage, nobody else. I am better off, and I keep telling people in interviews that I'm more of a reality star now because of this whole Samurai Cop thing rather than an actor. So I'm a reality star pretending to act, you know, in a movie, and then we'll see how good it is, or if it's believable, or if anybody else would want to do something else beyond this. Because everybody says, oh, I'd love to see you doing other movies. It's like, well, let's wait and see what happens here and see if if the fans really, because again, and what I used to talk to my wife about as an actor, the audience are the people that really have the power. If they like you, they can make or break your career. In the beginning, when you're going out on auditions, you have to get past casting. Then you have to get past a director. Then you have to be right for the part, and then you have to get, you know, But once you get that opportunity to get that far, and then you're on the big screen, and then people see you, if they like you, they're the ones. If they say, "Oh, I want to see more movies like by this guy," the studio execs and everybody else says, "Oh, let's keep using this guy because he has a built-in audience, and that'll make us money." So from stand-up, same principle. I'll go down and I'll do my comedy. If I sit before 300-400 people, and if I do a great job and perform a great stand-up routine, it doesn't matter anymore. The club owner doesn't like me because I'm too tall or I'm an asshole in real life, and he can block me from ever getting on stage, which is what happened, and that's why I kind of left the business, both acting and the other. If the audience likes you and they're going to come in, they're going to buy drinks, and he's going to make $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 that night selling drinks because everybody showed up to watch you. I guarantee you, unless he's just an idiot and just doesn't want you to have any success at all, he will let you come back. And that's kind of what I've always said. Just give me a chance to get up to bat. Let me get in the game. If I don't hit the triple or the home run, then you don't have to use me. But I really do feel that, and back then I thought, I have something to offer. Just give me a shot. And then when you can't get that shot, because that's the business, I just tended to, drift away and leave it alone. Most probably there's a ton of talented people out there that just never got a shot. So that's why I say it is an absolute gift to be given what I've been given with 2 films now, to at least have something to done. There's some people, like I said, never got a shot.
So you do stand-up comedy? Can you tell me a little bit about
Well, let me preface that too, because typical stand-ups, they travel the country, they go to clubs, and they do this and that. Mine was, I had, Andrew Dice Clay was a very good friend of mine who I met through Sly when I worked for Stallone as a bodyguard. And Andrew was a comic, and I used to go down to the open mic nights at the Comedy Stores, the Laugh Factories, because I knew that I was good at what I did. I've been a class clown since 4th grade, it was good for me to go down there, and I watched the other comics and people that were either up and coming or even guys that were traveling around that were really good, and I just thought they're really not that good. In my opinion, obviously that's just my opinion. So I thought I would like to get up there and show them what I think is good, and then I would go up and perform, and the audiences would love it, and I would connect, because I really, being the perfectionist, will not go up and do anything unless I think it's funny. And that sounds very narcissistic, like, who do you think you are that, you think you know what's funny, but I pretty much touch base on what I think is funny. It's more reality-based or observational comedy, not joke-telling. It's just observation, things that I've seen in people, and I put it in a little funny story, beginning, middle, and end, blah, blah, blah. So I just would constantly go back down and go up and just to basically show the other comics, I am good, but because I don't play the game, I obviously won't get a shot, but at least I enjoy coming down, and the audiences had a good time. But if you don't get along with the club manager, you're not going to get the 9 o'clock spot. They'll say come back at 3 in the morning and perform for 4 people. It's like, I'm not going to do that. So, but yeah, so as far as a comedian, I can do that, and I'm good at it. And I enjoy just doing it for a hobby, but not like a traditional stand-up comic. But some people just don't even want to get up on stage, but I don't mind. That's fine with me.
Do you consider your work on the first film a personal success or a failure?
Personally, yeah, it's a failure, but what could you expect? Like I said, it was the first film. You're 26 years old. It just wasn't the best that I could have done, but it's what I thought was great work at the time. But like any job, I've said before in interviews, when people say, was that the best work that you did on Samurai Cop 1? And it's like any job that you start, you suck the first day, but the more that you stay there, within a year or 2 years, you're really good at it, because you learn the mistakes that you made, how to make them better. But I never got that natural progression, so it was just right into, I should have never been given a starring role right away. I mean, the way I looked, sure, give me a character part. Oh, he's got long hair, give him a couple lines. You can nail that. It's a very small window of trying to be, but to carry a whole movie with no talent, I mean, that's that's what you saw. So that's why on this one, I keep thinking in my head, I wish I could do what I really want to do and do better work and not be rushed through things. But it is what it is. I'm not making this for me. Again, this is an ensemble piece with everybody involved, all these other actors. So I I'm just trying to do the best for the whole movie. So whatever Greg sees, if it works, it works.
This one's pretty funny. When was the last time you were in love?
I'm going to have to say with that question, being as up I am, and with my wife sitting here next to me, as a narcissist, I don't even know if I know what that word means. Maybe that's from my own childhood or whatever. Because the only love, obviously, I have is the first time I laid eyes on my wife, way back, in high school. That I consider that feeling of love. My daughter's being born, obviously, that's a strong love. I've got so much mental damage and shit that's in my head that's made me so messed up that I'm a very dark person, but that's something that I've been missing and wanting in my life. And then, what was the question? Have I ever been in love?
When was the last time?
Oh, when was the last time? And then recently, yeah, I might have stumbled upon those same feelings again, which we're working through right now. But I think that's probably the most recent. Not had time for love. Just worried about making money.
Do you ever have any regrets?
Regrets? No, people ask that too, especially with my. I don't know. I guess that's weird. I don't know if we've talked about that before. Because the regrets you would have would be for obviously the time that I had spent in jail and prison with stupid decisions. And then I have to ask myself, if you in life you make mistakes and you learn from mistakes, would I be where I am now? Would I have the growth personal of not going through those things? So I don't know if you could really say that you could regret things, because I regret hurting so many other people. I wish that any of my poor decisions would have only affected me. So that's something that I would say. But in life, unfortunately, that's not the case. Your decisions have so many consequences to friends, family, and those around you. That I hate. So if I could change that, I would. But personally, I just think we're all here. We're all on a journey. Whatever choices you are making are whatever choices you're supposed to be making, and then whatever lessons you're learning. So, but yeah, if I had any regrets, I think it would be that others did not have to suffer the hardships that I personally brought upon myself. Just being shrapnel relationships of wives, children, parents, friends, and so on. But the good things in life, I want all those people to experience, but it's just the bad stuff I would rather keep myself. I know people say misery loves company, and I don't believe that personally. I'd rather be miserable myself and not affect others, but unfortunately, it sometimes happens.
Now, do the locals know you as an actor, or do they know you as, you said you were a trade show guy?
Oh, the union guys? No, they've always, and I think they all knew that I had worked with Stallone back in the day, and I had done some acting, but nobody really knew. And the way that I carry myself, almost like some ridiculous diva around the show floor with, I got to have my fingers manicured, and nobody, I look ridiculous. But no, I don't think they knew. They all know now, and it's pretty much a 50-50 split down the road of some people are happy and thinking, oh, this is awesome, I hope you have great success. Others are like, what a douchebag, I hope he fails, the guy's a fucking jabroni, and so you get that, and I don't, either one I welcome because it's fair, I don't care. I never thought this was coming, but and I've been trying to bring in, as you know, like my boss, trying to give them little parts here and there in the movie, just so they can have fun too. It's a big fun carnival ride, and it's kind of like I want to share it with everybody that has been there around with me. So.
Do you want this movie to be a new beginning to your acting career?
Well, yeah, I think in the back of my head, sure. I'm 50 years old now. I don't know how much more of a window that we can keep this crypt face looking at least presentable. But yeah, I think fiscally, I would love for it to continue. People have always said that they love acting because they love the acting. They don't do it for the money. I would be opposite to that because I enjoy performing, but there's so much money you can make in this industry. I don't know how filmmakers make a living because it seems so hard, even being with Greg and seeing behind the scenes about how expensive it is to make a movie, and your profit margin is just very, very few movies make any money. I would rather be developing television shows, that Andy Cohen with the Bravo. I mean, the guy's made a fortune. Ryan Seacrest with the E Network with the Kardashians. It's all reality based, and it generates, ad revenue, and everybody makes a ton of money. Series television, I think, would be another thing that's pretty lucrative. I used to work as a grip on the '70s show, and just seeing those actors that came and they worked on the show for I don't know how many years, 9, 10 years, and it's done and over with, but they're still getting $60,000 checks every week. I mean, that's nice, and you can just fade off into the sunset, never act again if you wanted to. But yeah, the more I keep doing this film, I'm just thinking, I wonder if this could lead to something else, or even these low budget action movies, or at the grandest scale. They've always talked about that Quentin Tarantino is a huge fan of this genre filmmaking, and it's rumored that our movie Samurai Cop is in his top all-time great worst movies. So at the far end of that scale, you take a guy like Quentin Tarantino, if he sees this and says, oh my god, that was fucking hilarious, and hey, that guy Karedas, he's got something, maybe I could give him a small tiny part in my movie. And that just kind of starts taking you from that B world genre into that A level. And then this business, Hollywood, is all about connections, who you know, and opportunities. And so if I can parlay this into an opportunity to do better work, and to help people around me because of the opportunities that I get, put people to work, friends, financially secure my children's future. I mean, that's a nice gift to get. So yeah, that's why I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth here, but I understand that's, pretty far fetching as far as to get it. Like I've said before, it's a scratcher lottery ticket that we're playing here, and we just keep going down, and if you get a winning ticket, amazing. If you don't, it's like, well, it was fun. I enjoy the excitement of wondering what if. So that's kind of where we are now.
Does anything scare you about making a film after such a long hiatus?
No, because it's been fun all from the beginning to see Mark and have everybody involved, and after being exposed to the worldwide fan base and talking with them via emails and so on, just everybody's so excited. I mean, on that Kickstarter alone, most people never make their Kickstarter that they asked for, and to have this fan base that this film is driven by, where we were looking for 50 grand and ended up with 64, that's amazing to get in such a small time frame. I think we had 3 weeks to raise it. Ralph Garman, key player when he became a big fan, and he's on the local, K-Rock radio station. He had talked about our movie for 3 days in a row before I even came on and talked as a guest, and that opened up a whole nother window of people to come and get involved in. So nothing's been scary as far as all this. It's just been amazing to see every person that becomes exposed to it. Narumi, who's one of the producers now on this film, his son was a huge fan of the movie for years. Him and his friends used to dress up and play Samurai Cop, which is funny to hear. But because of his kids saying, Dad, this movie, you got to see it, it's funny, and then Narumi heard the interview on K-Rock, coincidentally, then he just became a huge fan, jumped on board. He's donating hundreds of thousands of dollars of his time. I mean, he's an Emmy award-winning editor, and he just knows so many people and so many favors he's called in, that people are doing this just for the love of being a part of this thing. So I think there's no fear involved. It's just the excitement of hoping that we can at least, do something here that's memorable and everybody is what they expected to see.
After the film was released, did you stay in touch with Mark?
Yeah, briefly, for a little bit, and then we lost touch. I think we lost touch when I went away to county jail for my first baloney episode of stupidity, and then I think he thought I just abandoned him, but it was one of those just I didn't want to be around anybody. I'd made a stupid mistake. My wife had ended up taking my daughter, who had just been born, Courtney, and moved back up to Oregon for about 6 months. So we weren't living where we were living, and I didn't stay in touch with anybody. So I just think we lost touch just over time, naturally, not purposefully. So I was happy to be back in contact with him. It was funny, the circumstances, obviously, because like I had said earlier, he was getting ready to do a sequel, and he was going to be the star, and then all of a sudden I come back to life, and Greg had called him and goes, "Hey, have you seen this? Is this really Matt?" And then Mark's like, "Yeah, that's him." But he was more like, "Shit, Matt's back now, so now I'm back to being second fiddle," which kind of hurt me because I didn't want him to feel I ever was trying to steal any thunder of whatever he had going on. But the first time we did finally speak after 20 years, it wasn't like, "Oh my God, thank God you're alive." It was like, "Yeah, you fucked up my movie." So it was funny to hear that from him, and we joke about it now. But yeah, Mark's a great guy. I like hang around and talk with him. I mean, we've had our battles just like brothers, arguing about some stupid shit. But I mean, it's just fun to both of us be, and it's fun for me to watch him working again.
How do you feel about reuniting with him after so long?
Like I said, visually, I think it's amazing because we kind of don't look that much older. I don't want to say we look the same, but it's nice to see that we're still aesthetically close to the way we looked. And he's obviously gotten older, more wiser, and has his little life journey that he's been on. And so for us to be together again on this, working together, like I said, it's just fun. From the day one when we shot the first scene, the chemistry was right back there. And um, so I really do like hanging around him. I hate that he's just kind of hanging out in the hotel while he's here and not having better accommodations, but he's fine. But we keep saying, in the third one, it'll be fine. We'll have trailers and be able to hang out more and talk. But I think we'll stay in touch even after this because obviously there's going to be a ton of publicity and interviews and stuff that we'll be doing together. So.
Are you close with your family?
My personal family or my family here? I mean, I have my kids and then my ex-wife that we stay and we're always together. Same routine. Even though I live just someplace different, I'll go sleep someplace different at night. But my family of mother, father, brothers, we all stay in touch. We're all kind of spread out. Some still up in Portland, some are in Seattle, Vegas. But yeah, we talk constantly. We're not close like we're always every day talking, but yeah, we're always making sure everybody's fine.
Now, did you grow up here in Calabasas, or?
No, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and then moved to California in '87 and lived in West LA. And then we moved out to Calabasas in '97, I think, because my daughter was getting of age to begin school, and we didn't want to be in the LA Unified School District. Nothing against the LA Unified School District, but out here, the Las Virgenes School District, and it's pretty out here. It's kind of like the country. It's rolling grass hills, gated communities. We had no idea that it was going to become the Beverly Hills of the Valley. I mean, it's a very affluent community out here, a lot of wealth out here, and we make jokes because we consider we live in the ghettos of Calabasas, which is still $500,000 home and so on. But it's a nice place for the kids to grow up. The school's out here, and like I said, it's 10-15 minutes away from Malibu down the canyon, so it's a nice place out here.
How do you see your future after this film?
Just go back to work as soon as we wrap here in a couple weeks. I'll just get right back to work. We have kind of had a union typical hiatus this time of year when there really isn't much work going on, but it is starting back up here about mid-January. So I'll just fold right back into that, continue to have the ribbing from all of my coworkers about the movie, and then Greg will finish, probably I'll have to come back for some pickup shots here and there, and then we'll just wait. I mean, it's exciting to see, what's going to happen. We will have the theatrical release for at least 2 weeks, I'm told, at the landmark theaters, and then you just hope again that we bring in a new audience plus the original fans, and if it does well, then it stays in there for 3 weeks, and then you just never know where the buzz is going to go. It's just kind of fun to wait and see what happens. If anything, obviously we're filming all the documentary stuff behind the scenes. Sometimes people enjoy that even more than the actual movie, so we're just really trying to capture this moment in time, and again, once June rolls around and the 25-year anniversary, I think we'll release at Comic-Con. I know it'll be at one film festival before that, and then we'll start to know, how things are going, and then if all this talk about doing one more, the trilogy, and which is what everybody's hoping. If you have enough of a fan base that come to watch and they really enjoyed it, and then they want to see one more, because that's all I would keep saying selfishly, is I would like to just finish on a high note on a trilogy of a certain amount of money budgeted. I don't care how much it is. I'm just saying whatever's on the page, if we look at it and say that we can visually put whatever we see on that screen without any compromise, which did not happen with this one, I'm happy. And if it costs 50 grand to do that, fine. If it costs more because you need explosions, I'm just saying, I'm not saying I need a huge budget, but I'm saying whatever it takes to make a great story go from page to the screen, I'll be happy with, because then I know that I can do the best that I can do there, and it's not compromising anything. Like I said here, I have no idea what we're doing tomorrow. I don't know my lines. I don't work well that way because I'm very hard. I'm not like a soap opera trained where I can just get lines and start acting. I hate that, because then I can tell when I'm performing. When I'm looking at the camera, I'm more remembering lines as I'm saying them. See how my eyes aren't really in, versus if I was, trying to remember something, or this, you know what I mean? Because you're not worried about the words, you're just doing the action. So I haven't been able to do that here because. And then here, even the fight scenes, same thing with the mirror. We're literally learning. These guys are choreographing 4-minute fight scenes for me with lack of sleep. I already am retarded already. And I'm having drop zones, and I'm having to remember all these moves and this and that and that. It's just, again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, I didn't think I'd be walking into this, but they say it's coming out fine. But again, I am literally learning choreography and having an hour to rehearse maybe before we actually shoot it, which is horrible. I'm not a martial artist. Certain punches, certain things that you want to make sure land, we can't sit there all day. Which would normally be a 3-day fight scene, we're doing it in 3 hours. So it's irritating to the stunt coordinator because he wants to do better work. We all want to do better work, but as Greg says, we're just trying to do what we can do with what we got. So hopefully that it's not too shitty, but if it is, then that's just the genre of this movie, and it should be expected, but still frustrating.
What do you hope to achieve next in your artistic career?
I still would want to put out my 1-hour comedy special, which we talked about before with the comedy. I was wanting to do that before this even came up. I just thought I would love to just get my own money, go film my own 1-hour special, and put it out there. And if somebody wants to buy it because it's done, because the normal progression is you go to the clubs, you work your way up from an open mic night to a featured. And then somebody notices you and says, hey, this guy, we should probably do a special. And then you have to go solicit money from HBO Showtime, and they put it out. I thought, why not just bypass all that? If you put it all together, you get your own financing, do your film 1 hour, which was that Brian McAvelli comedy special I wanted to do just before all this started. And then you go shop it around the Comedy Central, HBO or Showtime, saying, look, here it is. It's already in the can. If you think it's funny, air it. I don't know how that works because I don't know the business, but that's how naive. I just thought I would rather do my own work and then put it out there. I know a lot of people do stuff straight to Netflix. That may have been an option too, but so yeah, maybe at least do something comedy-wise. And then Greg's got some ideas. He wants to do some action movies and stuff with me involved. So we'll see. I don't know.
All right, and lastly, who is Matt?
Who is Matt? All that you're seeing before you, I guess. I mean, this is me. A verbose, fucking narcissistic dreamer who's been caught right in the middle of the shitstorm. So you're seeing me pretty raw. I don't really hide much, as most of my interviews have seen. I just kind of put it all out there, but just a straightforward shooting guy. Always concerned about others and how they're feeling and so on, as far as to some degree. Some people may disagree, but always wanting the best for those around me and making sure I can take care of and make them happy. So I guess that's me, if that's an answer.
Right on. All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add, or?
No, unless we've got other things to do.
Yep.
Show my pretty daughter.
Go ahead and cut it.